Hey guys, what's going on? This is Shadow, and today I thought I'd do a different kind of deck profile. I noticed this year some YouTubers have been doing kind of a progressive series of the game and giving you kind of a history about how the game first came out and what was in it and stuff, and just like kind of the lore of the cards, which is stuff that I'm really always interested in. And I thought that I would show you a deck profile that was based off the first four sets, kind of like a pre-GOAT deck. That was based off the first four sets of Yu-Gi-Oh, which being Legend of Blue Eyes, Metal Raiders, Magic Ruler, and then Pharaoh Servant. And the reason I'm doing this is I thought it would be a cool little idea to kind of give you show you a different kind of deck. You know, once in a while I'll upgrade it and stuff till we get to GOAT, and then until we get to like the GX, kind of like to show you a transitional period of what kind of cards that were in the meta, what had come out, what were some really good ideas that people had. I mean, like what people were playing. And the first one is going to be the first four sets in 2002, and I don't know if I've told you this before on my channel, but I've been playing this game since 2002, the summer of 2002, and the game came out in March of that year. So I've been playing this game for a long time, probably longer than some people should be, but I've always enjoyed it, and I always will, and I'll always come back to playing it. And I've played Magic, and I've played Pokemon, and I play DBS and stuff, but I always end up coming back to Yu-Gi-Oh because it's my passion and it's what I really enjoy the most out of everything. I don't think I'll ever get tired of playing this game because there's just so much fun memories and just really good memories and just fun times that I've had with this game, and I've always played it. And I took a 3-year hiatus in 2006 to 2009, but other than that, I've been playing pretty much every year, like every day, every year and stuff. So anyways, without, I guess, rambling on too much about that, the reason I'm doing this start off is because this was the introduction of Jinzo, which was a force to be reckoned with and kind of changed the way the game was played. Before that, everything was kind of a mess. There wasn't really a big boss monster. I mean, there was Summon Skull, and then there was like, you know, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and then there was other cards and stuff, but there was never really a boss monster that kind of signified the game and made it what it is today, and kind of like revolutionized the way Yu-Gi-Oh was played, other than Jinzo. And I'm just going to show you a deck profile of what I would have been using, which is my Harpie deck. And believe it or not, you can have a Harpie deck in this format. I know it sounds crazy because there wasn't a lot of cards back then for it, but you can, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I don't run Jinzo in this deck, just I have ways to get rid of it, but I didn't have any room for it, and I just wanted to kind of stick with my own theme. So if you haven't yet, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet, and please click that bell and get any notifications that you get in any of my upcoming videos. And if you want to, please post a comment on the comment section below. I always love reading them, and I always try my best to get back to them. Alright, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you're first going to be running I run 2 copies of Harpie Lady Sisters. I only need to run 2, and you only really need to run 2. You can knock this down to 1 if you were playing this, because it can only be brought out using Elegant Egotist. So, but it's still really, really good, in my opinion. The Fiend Mega Cyber. This guy was crazy good, because if your opponent had 2 more monsters than you, presumably you had none and they had 2, you could summon this card without tributing it. And he was just a 2200 beat stick, and he was really, really valuable, especially early on in the game, because you're putting pressure on them by having him out, and they're just like, well, what do we do? He's already got a 2200 monster. Just to keep in mind, and to give you kind of a history, or a kind of a thing that you may not know, this was before Gemini Elf, so the only beat stick vanilla monsters that they had was like Legend, 7-colored fish, Harpie's brother, which is in here, and Mechanical Chaser. But Mechanical Chaser had came out of a tournament pack, so it was very, very hard to get a hold of. Most people either ran those, or they ran Dark Witch, or Dark Elf, which was 2,000 beat stick, but you had to pay 1,000. And then they ran Jiraiya, which it was a 2,200, but if you flipped the coin and called it wrong, you lost half your life. So he was kind of more trouble than he was worth. I just ran the Harpie's brother because it was perfect. It was a winged beast wind, and it was my own, little beat stick. Then we've got 3 copies of Harpie Lady. This is kind of like the core of the deck, Harpie Lady Sisters. So that's what I would use to bring out Harpie Lady Sisters. And then, like I said before, my own copy of Harpie's Brother. This has nothing to do really with Harpie cards or support. That's why they changed it later to Sky Scout. But back then, it was just called Harpie's Brother. And it was an 1800 beat stick. So it was actually very good, in my opinion. And then 2 copies of Flying Kamakiri. This was just used to get either Blade Fly or get a Harpie Lady out. So you could use Algonegotist. And you only need to run 2 because running 3 would kind of clog it. They didn't have the field spells that they did have. They did have the elemental field spells, but Terraforming was not out yet because that came out in front of Guardian. And just remember, this is the first 4 sets. So I didn't run Rising Air Current in here or any of the other field spells because it was, you pretty much had to rely on drawing them. Alright, and then I had Blade Fly, which was a good pumper for 500 attack for all wind monsters, and earth monsters lose 400 attack. So this was a good way. If you had this and then Harpie Lady Sisters, you could make it a 2450, meaning it was 50 points more than Jinzo, and you could just attack and knock it out. And then if you had Monster Reborn, you could bring it back. And then 4-star Ladybug of Doom. This was a nice little trick card because if they attacked it, he flipped it, and if they had any level 4 monsters, they were all destroyed. So it was a good way to wipe their field out, especially since people were running a lot of level 4s back then. Okay, then we had Magician of Faith, which was a great way to get spell stack. And remember, this wasn't banned, so you could play, I think it was 2 copies. So you could play the 2 copies. I just ran the 1, and I don't run Mask of Darkness in here because I don't really care about bringing traps back. Then you had the Sengen and the Witch of the Black Forest. Remember, these weren't banned either, so you could play, I think, 2 copies of each of these guys too. And Sengen and Witch were great because you could just use Sengen to get out Witch, and then Witch to get out like the Fiend Mega Cyber, or use Witch and Sengen to get out Harpie Lady or whatever have you. And it was a good way to kind of get more of a presence on the field. And then you had Wall of Illusion, which was great because people who had, like, you know, you can run Man Meter Bug, Penguin Soldier. I liked Wall because it had 1850 defense and it was hard to get around. So if they attacked with it, the monster, if they had to tribute for it, went right back to the hand. And then last but not least, for a beat stick, I only ran 1 of Goblin Attack Force because he is great being a 2300 a level 4. The only downside is when he attacked, went to defense mode. So yeah, it was the only bad part about it, and they couldn't change its battle position until the end of your next turn. So it was kind of risky, but it was a good way to get stuff off the field, especially, you know, the bigger monsters. Alright, that's going to be it for the monsters, guys. Let's go on to the spells and traps. And we got 3 copies of Algonegotist. This was used to bring out Harpie Lady Sisters. You got a copy of Scapegoat. This was good because they didn't have goat control back then. It was the only way you could just play it. You got 4 tokens, and it was a good way to kind of stall your opponent. Stall yourself to where your opponent couldn't get your life points. Then I had Graceful Charity and Pot of Greed, which were not banned. So you could draw 3, discard 2, and then draw 2 cards. So that was a really good way to get into your deck and really kind of just like get it going and stuff and get the cards that you need to take care of Jinzo or take care of any other monster that they had. Dark Hole, which destroyed all monsters on the field, which was a good way to get rid of it. Mystical Space Typhoon, you could play 2 if you wanted. I'm just running this and then a Dust Tornado in here to kind of show you the options that you had. MST was really good because if they had a face-up card on the field, bam, destroy it. Like if they played, what is that one card? I cannot remember. It's Forceful no, not Forceful Sentry. There was a face-up magic card that you had to keep paying 100 life points, or if they had Imperial Order, it was a good way to get rid of it. I gotta remember that, guys. So if you guys know the name of the card, I can't remember it right off the top of my head, post in the comment section, and then I'll probably remember like right after. Alright, Change of Heart and Snatch Steal. Now these weren't banned, and you just take control of your opponent's monster, and it's really, really nasty because you take their monster and then use it against them, and if you had a tribute, you could sacrifice it and tribute for your own. And then for the destruction, 2 of them that I had Tribute to the Doomed and Fissure. They were both really good. This was good to take out Jinzo, just discard a card, destroy a monster on the field regardless, and then Fissure, if the only monster they had on the field was like Jinzo, you could play that and get rid of it. Heavy Storm, to wipe out their magic and traps. Monster Reborn, to bring back one of your monsters or theirs. If they had like Summon Skull or if they had like Barrel Dragon or something, that'd be a good way to get it out. Bring it back. Nobleman Moment of Cross Out to destroy their face down. And then, last but not least, for the spell, Swords Reveal and Light, just stall your opponent for 3 turns while you think of a strategy to get rid of their monsters. And then we're going to do the traps, and there's only going to be a few. I only have 6 in here because I didn't really run that many, and I wouldn't have. Okay, you got Imperial Order. This negated traps or negated spells. You had to pay 700 life points though, but it was worth it because that means they couldn't play Dark Hole, they couldn't play Swords, they couldn't play Heavy Storm, they couldn't play any of that. Solemn Judgment, this wasn't banned, and this, you guys know what that is. Great. You pay half your life, negate a summon, spell, trap on their monster, and you got Dust Tornado, which was used to destroy a spell or trap on the field. Call of the Haunted, which I used for to bring back one of my monsters. They also had Premature Burial back then. I'm not running it in this deck, but you could have used that. And then this was optional. Most people would run like Trapple and stuff. I like Mirror Force better because Mirror Force, if they attacked you, you could lower their attack of their monster, and it was kind of sneaky of you because you play it and then your opponent attacks. They have something, chances are they're not going to be able to get rid of when they get their attack cut in half, get rid of whatever it is you have. So yeah, and you had to pay 2,000 life points, but you only needed it for that 1 turn. And then last but not least, Mirror Force, which is the main reason why I think everybody who played back then and stuff has trust issues, because we all know Mirror Force made it to where you attacked your opponent and they played it and you're like, oh, there goes all my monsters. Alright, that's it for the deck profile. If you're wondering why I don't have fusions, I'm just going to be honest with you. I've been playing this game since 2002, and before Pharaonic Guardian came out, before Metamorphosis, nobody really played fusions because they were really pointless. All you needed was your 40-card deck, and that was it. Alright, I hope you guys really did enjoy that. I had a lot of fun doing it because it's something I've been wanting to do for a while now, and it's going to be kind of a series that I plan on trying to keep up with. This was the first set, and then the next set that I'm going to do is going to be Labyrinth of Nightmare and Legacy of Darkness, which introduced the Yada-Lock, which you guys don't know, look it up. It was really, really crazy. You just used Yata-Garasu to kind of stall your opponent from drawing cards, and it locked them out of their deck completely, which caused the first ever ban list, or one of the first ever ban lists, because of how evil it was. Being able to lock your opponent out and not be able to draw cards, that's just madness, and it was awful. And then last turn with Jaugen the Spiritualist was really, really bad too. Alright, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and just look forward to more, and with that, I'll see you guys next time. Later.